I never thought I would live long enough to tell this story. At 85 years old, you expect your days to wind down quietly, spent with family memories, and maybe the soft hum of the television in the background. You don't imagine that death itself will come knocking, not just as a shadow, but as a doorway you actually step through. But that's what happened to me. My name is Samuel, and though my hands tremble with age as I write these words, my spirit trembles even more at the memory of what I saw. You see, I died. My heart stopped. My breath left me. And for a few moments, I crossed into eternity. I know what you're thinking. Old man's tale, wistful dream, some trick of the brain in this final flicker of light. But I am telling you, it was real. More real than the decades I've spent walking this earth. It all began on a quiet evening. My chest had been heavy all day, tighter than it had in years. I tried to ignore it, told myself it was just indigestion or fatigue. But by nightfall, the pressure grew unbearable. I remember trying to stand, my legs buckling beneath me. The room spun. The floor rushed up to meet me, cold against my cheek, and the last sound I heard was my granddaughter screaming for an ambulance. The doctors said later that my heart stopped for several minutes. They thought I was gone. And in a sense I was, because the moment my eyes closed here, they opened somewhere else entirely. I stood before a tunnel of light, not a metaphorical glow, not some faint candle flicker, but a living radiance that drew me in. The light pulsed like a heartbeat, warm and alive, wrapping me in peace. My aches, my age, my weary bones, all gone. I felt stronger, freer, more alive than I had in decades. And then I saw him, Jesus. No words in any language could do justice to his face. His eyes burned with fire and love all at once, seeing every hidden sin, every wasted year, yet embracing me with a mercy deeper than oceans. He called my name Samuel, and the sound was thunder and music woven together. Then he said something that changed everything. I have something to show you. Suddenly, I was lifted into a vision. Before me stood a man I had watched countless times on the news and online, Charlie Kirk. I never thought his path and mine would ever cross, let alone in the afterlife. He was bold, fiery, unafraid to challenge, unafraid to defend. I always admired his courage, though sometimes I thought he was reckless. In the vision, I saw him speaking before a sea of people, fire in his bones, but surrounding him were shadows, dark forces swirling like vultures. They weren't human. They were something else, demonic, unseen enemies clawing to silence his voice. Jesus spoke again. The world sees only a man. But I wanted you to see the war. I watched as Charlie struggled under the weight of those shadows. His voice grew weary. His body pressed beyond its limit. And then I saw the moment of his death. Not the way headlines would one day spin it. Not the way rumors would spread. No, this was the truth. His time had come, not in defeat, but in victory. Jesus said, I brought him home, not silenced, not defeated, victorious. For in my kingdom no voice for truth is ever lost. Tears burned down my face. Lord, I whispered, why show this to me? I'm just an old man. My days are nearly gone. He looked at me with eyes that pierced to the very core of my soul. Because you have lived long and seen much, and you will tell much. The world believes what the headlines scream, but eternity tells a deeper story. Then the vision shifted, and I was shown my own life. Like a reel of film, every moment replayed. I saw myself as a boy, bright with hope, as a husband, sometimes tender, sometimes failing, As a father, too often distant, too harsh, too proud. I saw the selfishness, the wasted years, the prayers left unsaid. My head sank in shame. But then Jesus reached out and touched the book of my life. His blood flowed across its pages. Forgiven, he said. At 85, I had feared death all my life. I had feared judgment. The doctors called it a miracle that I survived. At 85, most people don't come back from a flatline. Yet here I was, lying in a hospital bed, my frail body aching, but my soul burning with urgency. I had been given a glimpse into eternity, and I knew time was too short to keep silent. In the days that followed, I thought about what I'd seen, about Charlie Kirk, about how the world would never understand the real battle he faced. To them, he was just a man who died too young. To heaven, he was a warrior called home in victory. And I realized that Jesus had shown me this not so I could keep it as a secret vision, but so I could tell anyone who would listen. But telling people hasn't been easy. Some laugh, some roll their eyes, some accuse me of being confused, a senile old man mixing dreams with reality. Yet I don't care. When you've looked into the eyes of Christ, when you've seen eternity with your own soul, the opinions of people no longer matter. What matters is the message. That night changed how I saw everything. My past, my family, even my regrets. I had lived a long life, but not always a faithful one. For decades, my faith was a routine. Church on Sundays, grace before meals. But my heart was only half surrendered. I thought time was on my side, that I could drift along, repent later. But Jesus showed me that later is a dangerous lie. Because the truth is, we don't know when our later runs out. I think about Charlie often. He was young, bold, unafraid to speak truth, even when it cost him. And while I once thought my old age excused me from urgency, now I know age is no shield from eternity. The same call rests on every heart, young or old, rich or poor, surrender and live ready. I remember one quiet night after leaving the hospital. I sat in my chair, staring at the family photos on the wall. My wife, gone now, waiting in eternity. My children and grandchildren so busy with their lives. I wept, not out of fear, but out of gratitude, because even after so many wasted years, God's grace still reached me. And that's the message I must shout. It is never too late until your final breath. Jesus told me to warn the world, so let me speak plainly. Death is real, eternity is real, heaven is real, and hell is real. The news, the headlines, the noise of politics, they distract us from the one question that matters. Do you know him? Not, do you know about him? Not, do you respect his teachings? But do you know him? The one whose eyes burn with fire and love, who calls your name, who writes forgiven over the pages of your life. My story isn't meant to entertain. It's not meant to convince skeptics. It's a warning carved into my very soul. Don't waste your days. Don't assume tomorrow is guaranteed. Whether you are 25 or 85, your final hour is closer than you think. When that moment comes, and it will, the only thing that matters is whether you belong to Christ. So here I am, an old man who died and returned, telling you what I saw. Laugh if you will, doubt if you must, but hear me. I saw Jesus. I saw the truth about Charlie Kirk's death, not as defeat, but as victory. I saw my own life, broken yet redeemed by grace. And I was sent back for this reason, to tell you that eternity waits and the time is short. If my words reach even one soul, if one person chooses to stop wasting their life and surrender to Christ, then every beat of his old heart will be worth it. I close my eyes sometimes and still see that tunnel of light. I still hear his voice. Tell them, Samuel. Tell them eternity is real. And until my last breath, I will. Because I am no longer afraid of death. I have seen the other side. And I know, truly know, where home is.